Finding leads for your email campaign can be incredibly difficult to do if you don't know what you're doing. There are a million different data sources out there that claim to be able to find the best data on each of the target audiences that you're looking for, but not many of them can actually fulfill that promise. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you each one of the data sources I use for my email campaigns, when I choose to use it, why I use each one, and ideally how you can get all that information in Clay and use it to enrich your leads and eventually send out personalized emails to them. The first data source I use is actually Clay itself. They have a really cool free lead finder that allows you to find a ton of companies within the ICP you're looking for completely for free. All you have to do is go to New Table and click Find Companies from LinkedIn. And from there, you can put in a ton of different data points revolving around the target audience that you're looking for to be able to find companies within that ICP. So for example, let's say I'm looking for companies with 11 to 200 employees in New York City that do accounting. All you have to do is put those filters in and you can pop out a list of companies that do exactly that. So in this case, we have 3,300 companies that match those criteria and we can import them into our Clay table. So this can be really good because A, it gives you the data directly from Clay and it's using LinkedIn. So we know it's probably accurate and up to date. However, the one downside is that it doesn't have a ton of filters. The main ones are just like the industry, the size, the location, and you can also use some keywords within their LinkedIn's description. However, I would totally use Clay as the first line of defense when finding data for pretty much any major campaign that you're running. So the second source I would highly recommend using after Clay would probably be Apollo. Apollo is going to cost you a monthly subscription fee to actually be a member of. And if you're trying to export people instead of companies, they will also charge you money for each person that you export. What are the perks of using Apollo over the other sources? The main one is honestly just the filtering. So you're able to filter by using technologies, by what round that they've raised recently. You can even do the last funding date, what job postings they have up. There are a ton of different signals such as a new partnership, an office expansion, an award or recognition. Now you can actually get all this information in Clay as well, but it's going to cost you credits. And the one perk with Apollo, especially if you're looking for companies, is that it won't cost you any credits to add these filters. So this is another great way to get company data that's kind of baseline and import it into Clay for tinier, maybe more targeted campaigns. When looking for people in Apollo, you can also do a ton of other things like job titles, again, industry and keywords, whether their buying intent is real or not, whether their email is likely to engage. The third one I would use to try to find these companies is Crunchbase. It's yet another database that you can scrape to find companies that fit the parameters that you're looking for. And often it shows a lot of companies that might not be as available in the first two. It also has hyper-specific filtering, once again, like their headquarters location, their industry, companies similar to them, and the amount of employees, when it was founded. For our fourth use case, this is for any local companies that you might be trying to find. One of the main problems with LinkedIn is mostly for corporate white-collar companies, but a lot of blue-collar companies or local businesses might not have any information available on there. So I would use the Find Local Businesses using Google Maps source. This allows you to find a bunch of different companies, for example, a cafe within a certain range, and also allows you to limit the results you're trying to find. And you'll see it will populate with a ton of different cafe names, all of which have information that we can now use to enrich within Clay to find contact information for. This is another really, really powerful source that allows you to find tons of different pieces of information on companies that might not be as available anywhere else. The fifth source that I would recommend using, I would definitely use Store Leads. Store Leads is really great for a few different things. The first one is finding e-com companies. The second is finding companies that are hosted on a certain platform such as Shopify. And the third one is using pretty hyper-specific filters that a lot of other sources can't use. You can filter by average price. You can filter by the employee count, Facebook followers, Instagram followers. There are a lot of like really nuanced filters that you can use in Store Leads to find a bunch of companies. One other one before going into our final source is importing companies from HubSpot. So if you have a CRM, you can actually go into that CRM and import those companies within Clay by just connecting your HubSpot account and importing them that way. So let's just say hypothetically, none of those sources work for you. For some reason, none of those were properly finding the companies you were looking for, but you found a list online that does a better job. In this case, you can use what is called the Clay Chrome extension, which is available on the Chrome web store and allows you to scrape pretty much any list that you want very, very easily. So once you download it, when you're on a certain web page, just click on the little icon right here and go to select data. And what we can do is select data add from page and list, and we select two distinct items in that list, and you'll see it sends us back to the Chrome extension right here. From there, we're able to select another list item attribute to add, and we can click on this, for example. We can actually just put company name, add attribute, and suddenly we have all of these company names in this entire list. We can actually go ahead and save the changes and just click add to workspace right here, and voila, we now have a list of all of these companies we can now enrich within Clay. If you want to try Clay out, the link is in the description to this video, and I hope this was of some value to you, and happy prospecting.